welcome to Finding Joy in the Mundane, and we are your hosts. I am Lauren, and we're really excited about this topic because we're talking about motherhood. And we needed ice cream to talk about this because there's no other way to talk about it.
Sometimes.
You know, motherhood is motherhood, and anyone who's in it knows the difficulties and the joys that come with it.
Yeah.
So we just thought it would be a good way to share that. And because, you know, Lauren and I are like two very different mothers. Like we had different situations.
Right.
And yet we're still, I feel like we're still really beautiful, great mothers.
Oh.
And we just live our life different.
Yeah.
And we try to navigate the issues that we have.
And find joy all in the middle of it.
And find joy in the middle of it. Because, like, what other choice do you have?
Well,
like,
yeah.
really?
That's true.
So, we want to talk about how I find joy in mine, how she finds joy in hers, and, you know, just bring light into it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, motherhood's, you know, it's kind of a calling, I feel like to be a mother, it's a whole, like, it totally upends your life, regardless of how you come about it. Definitely changes what, you know, brings you joy before motherhood versus after changes, and your priorities change, your schedule changes.
Oh my goodness, yes. Because I was adopted, like, especially at a later age, like, I saw what becoming a mother to my mom looked like. Because she was around, like, 48 when she first became a mom.
Aww.
And it was to 3 girls.
Yeah.
And it was, like, 16, 10, and 8. And when I say, like, her life looked very different, and then after, she had to come up with an entire schedule. She came up with a board.
Right.
Like, all of this just to keep up with us. And I saw her struggle. I did. Like, becoming a mother, like, whether it's by just giving birth or adoption, it's becoming a mother.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
you're taking care and taking responsibility for this child and caring for them the best that you can, and that will change your whole life.
Yep.
Because, like, yeah, your schedule no longer matters. Your feelings no longer matter. Your body no longer matters. Nothing really matters as far as you're concerned.
Right.
It's just all about the child and making sure they're okay. And even though I feel like that's how it should be, and that's some of the joy that would come with it, the selflessness, I really do. Now looking back and, like, had gone through it, it's so hard.
It's so hard to give those things up sometimes. You know, you go from being a young 20-something-year-old, in our case, to you know,
A mother.
I've got this baby on my hip.
Literally! Like, I don't even understand, like, the difference. It's as if, even if I were to have not had Mia, I would have been able to, like, continue my 20s, you know?
Right. On into your 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was because I made that choice that changed my whole life. You know, when I was pregnant, it changed. But then when I became a mother, like, whenever she was born, it really changed.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to deal with that.
Yeah, you're running on little to no sleep. So you're already irritable. At least I was.
Your hormones are crazy.
Yes.
Don't even trust your hormones.
Yeah, you can't just pick up and go for a walk or go on a weekend trip or do any of those things that you used to do. You've got a baby that you need to pack a big diaper bag for, or, you know, it comes
Make sure it's fed. Make sure everything.
comes with all of the supplies and
the stroller. Don't forget the
gosh.
stroller.
Yeah. And it's a lot, and it changes, and you can either change with it, or you can get stuck in that old pattern of, my life used to be this, my life used to be that, and now it's not.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of mothers might struggle with. And you know, I think we both probably did to an extent.
I definitely struggle with that.
Yeah.
Because it's like you almost, and I remember talking to a friend about this, where it's like, whatever, like, whenever you see something like a meme or a video about a single person or even a married person at that point without kids, like, you realize that you're now further.
Yeah.
That you're now older.
Right. Or you've got more responsibility.
You've now got more responsibility, that you're no longer that. And accepting it was so hard because I'm like, did I really just give up my youth? In reality, no, but that's what it felt like.
In the moment, for sure.
In the moment, and like throughout the whole year, especially the first year. The first year is the hardest because you've been pregnant for 9 months. And then you have the first year in which they do not sleep. They're still trying to get used to the world.
Right.
So, and your hormones are trying to reestablish themselves back to normal because they just did whatever they needed to do.
Yeah, and they're adapting. I mean, you went from being able to sleep all night, even if you did have a baby kicking in your belly for, 5 or 6 months, like, you go from being able to sleep all night, uninterrupted, to
having this pillow that's just so long.
And the body pillow.
The body pillow. I don't know if the body pillow actually helps or it just makes things worse. Some people it helps to us, like, it made things worse because I didn't have enough room at that point to be able to spread out because I like sleeping on my stomach. I hated being pregnant because I like sleeping on my stomach and I was worried about that.
Yeah.
So
you can't.
Well, I did as long as I can and as long as it felt comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's what the doctors say. I can do that, and I did. And now, fun fact, Mia likes to sleep on her stomach.
Oh.
So I genuinely wonder, like, really, and I genuinely wonder, like, did I just do that to her, or is it genetics? Either way, I try to sleep as much as I can, whatever comfort I can get.
Yeah.
And the longer you're pregnant, the less comfort you get. And, I think that does prepare you for motherhood.
Yeah, that discomfort and that tension.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because, I mean, you're always going to be growing or learning something new or teaching your child something, whether it be like my child, like Liam, he's, starting to learn t-ball or, these little sports that every kid loves to play, or at least tries their hand at. And so, that's a learning pain for me or growing pain for me because, like, he's my little baby.
Yeah. And what's so crazy? Like, our kids are a year apart.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like it should be that much different.
But it is.
Like, Liam can go to the potty.
Yeah.
By himself.
Yeah.
Not perfectly because, nothing's done perfectly.
Right.
But, like, he can go to the potty. I still have to train Mia how to go to the potty.
But when it happens, dude.
Yeah, but, like, I don't know if I'm ready for it.
I didn't think I was either, but girl, when you don't have to buy diapers anymore.
That's my thing.
That's finding joy in the mundane.
Literally, like, because children are expensive. They take up most of your money. It's
all of your money.
All of your money. It's like all of a sudden you have to buy diapers. You have to buy formula if you can't breastfeed. Even when you do breastfeed, supplementing because, like, you don't have enough nutrition or you can't make enough, like, social media makes it seem so perfect, like, logical, like, you have your baby, you can breastfeed, and then you can, like, it's never like that. It's either they won't latch or they, like, it's always something.
Come into some hurdle, usually.
You will always have a hurdle to go past, and it always feels lonely because, like, unless you're having someone right next to you, like, if me and Lauren were pregnant at the same time, we can be there for each other. But unless you have that, then you're going through it alone. Yeah. Because, like, even after pregnancy is different. And before pregnancy is definitely different. Yeah. So I think just feeling and knowing that there's going to be some loneliness, like and I think there's growth in that. Yeah. I don't know if it's necessarily loneliness other than just, like, that individual growth.
Yeah. Independence. And
independent growth.
Yeah.
Where, like, you're learning how to become your own person to be able to deal with your own problems because they will come.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I think that's what was the most shocking about motherhood is that even though, like, I had all these different resources that would help me with it, whatever would come my way was going to be individual.
Yeah, how you approach that. You're going to be on your own, kind of.
You're gonna be on your own. You're gonna see that rash and you're gonna be like, what is this rash?
Yeah. And that's where I think, like, have you ever heard that saying, like, it takes a village?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think that's where it comes into play is, like, a lot of times, like, you gotta figure it out on your own, but also, you've got this whole support system around you that will support you and help you navigate those waters, navigate what's that rash, or navigate potty training and give you all the tips and tricks that you can try out and figure out what works for you. But at the end of the day, it's yours and Sam's decision.
It is. And I think that's what makes it hard, because like you want to trust your village,
but sometimes at the end of the day,
it's that instinct that you're trying to develop.
You've got to rely on that instinct a little bit.
And it is easier to just go with the flow and go with whatever they say. But then I think there's a lot of strength in standing on your own and being like, well, I have been with this child day in, day out. I have seen the way they react to things. I have seen everything. I think this is the best way.
Yeah.
And doing it and seeing it come to fruition, like, that is the most satisfying. Because, like, you finally realize, like, what being a mother is.
Right.
I think being a mother is just, like, taking the issues, the problems, the life that comes your way and, like, trying to nourish it and treat it the best that you can in the most knowledge that you have.
Yeah.
And as simple as that may be, like, sometimes people think that's not enough.
Right.
And, like, it may not feel like enough, but I think later on in the child's life, they see that it was enough.
Yeah. Like I can think, like, now, like, looking back on, like, things that my parents did to, raise me up and teach me, my people skills or my morals or, things like that of how I should act, like, during the time I was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're totally wrong. Like, and now I can't tell you how often I call my dad and I'm like, dude, you were right. Like, this is why we do it like this.
This is literally why.
Yeah. And I think that full circle moment is what I hold on to a lot with raising Liam is like, I remember when I was a teenager, I would be like, oh my gosh, my parents are so mean, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think about that now. Like, I know we don't have teenagers yet, but, like, I think about when we discipline them or...
God, when we have teenagers.
Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. Or when we have to be strict and, like, set those rules and set those expectations now and stand by them, even if I feel so bad about it or so mean because Liam's over here, like, upset with me that I'm not letting him have candy for breakfast or whatever, We're instilling those values and instilling that, like, responsibility and that self-respect.
Yeah.
That we're nurturing those types of things into them. And I think that for me is what brings the most joy in motherhood is kind of giving of myself.
It is.
And that's definitely a learned trait or a learned thing, because I would not have, like, 5 years ago loved that. I mean, I was selfish. I still am, but like...
No, I genuinely wonder, because, like, the active discipline takes more than just wanting them to be better.
It's love.
It takes having the love enough to understand that if they continue to do what they're doing, it will hurt them.
Right.
Like, ultimately, you're trying to protect them from themselves. That's where discipline comes in. And, I was reading today in Proverbs, those Proverbs.
Oh, yeah.
And it was talking about how, like, a father disciplines his child, like, he helps him grow more in life. And that's not that exact verse, but you can go and, like, dissect it. That's literally it. It's like you're giving, by disciplining them, you're giving them life.
Right.
And it did say, like, when you discipline them, then you're adding to their life.
Right.
So that way you're, like, leading them away from death.
Yeah.
And I read that and I was like, wow, disciplining Mia, like me saying you can't have ice cream at 8 a.m.
Right.
is adding to her life. Yeah, that actually does make sense.
Yeah.
In this, like, the simplest term.
Right.
I never even thought of that, where it's like when you're disciplining and trying to guide your child in this way, you're not doing it out of just meanness or satisfaction for yourself. Like, you're just trying to show them the best way to live their life.
Right.
And having that confidence, not in yourself to be able to know that this is what I can do.
Right.
But this is what you're trying to do.
Right.
I think that really helps, is that knowing that you're just trying to have them live the best life that they can. And that means that they can't have candy at 8 a.m.
Right. Right.
Because Mia wakes up and asks one time. And that's how she asks it. One time. One time.
Like,
and
one time can I have candy?
Yes! Like, one time can I have candy? And guess what? It's never one time.
No.
She never never stops at it. So the fact that she starts at it when she first wakes up just tells me that I need to do better.
She knows to test those limits.
To test those limits.
Yeah. And that's something that kids will do is they'll test those limits and test the waters of like, is mom really gonna fuss at me if I do this? You know?
And I feel like they have to. They really do.
They
because
do.
like, how else are they gonna learn?
Right. Yeah, right. How else do we learn?
How else do we learn?
In testing and unfortunately that is how it is. But I think for me and I know for you, like we would totally like spare our children from learning those lessons the hard way. And
if I could give Mia candy all day, I would.
And it'd be okay. Yeah.
And if it was okay, and it wouldn't rot her teeth or her body.
Yeah. If I could give Liam anything he wanted, like every time he saw something at the store that he wants, yes, baby, you can have that. Yes, baby, you can have that. But
then you can't have groceries.
Right. Yeah. Then it gets in the way of getting milk and bread, or.
So that little teddy that you're cuddling with is the only thing you're gonna have.
Yeah. Or it teaches materialism.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that like a lot of parents, especially like I'm a single mom, so like it would be easy for me to be like, oh yes, baby, you can have this, like you can have anything you want, because like I like there's kind of more of a perceived more pressure.
Yeah.
For a single income household to kind of prove themselves of like, hey, honey, you've got everything.
You will provide everything they can.
I've got everything you need. Like, don't worry about it. We got it.
That's
you want
hard.
that toy? Yes, you can have that toy. And like just today, like I was getting groceries before I came over here, and I was getting all the things, and I was like, I've got a tight budget. I'm like, hey, we're getting this, this, and this. And then I saw this little bubble thing. I was like, Liam would love that, and I was like, okay, we're gonna get it. But so when he comes back to me later this week, like he's gonna see it and it's gonna bring me so much joy, and it's gonna bring him joy for like maybe a week until it breaks, but it's gonna be fine. It's memories.
Exactly.
And I think that's something else. It's a hard balance of like, yes, you can have everything and like
you gotta
just
pick
enough to make memories.
Yeah.
Like those core memories of childhood. And I think that's something else, like for motherhood, there are so many distractions trying to take us away from our kids.
Yeah.
I can't tell you, like right after divorce, like how often like I would just kind of engross myself into my phone because like I just didn't want to deal with the laundry. I didn't want to deal with the house. I didn't want to deal with being alone in the house. Well, then like Liam starts suffering if I continue doing that while he's there. Yeah. And then it's a constant struggle now, That's why they put it on like do not disturb and
all
things like that. Yeah, like that way you're forced to unplug.
Honestly,
and like you do a good job at that.
I do not do a good job with that.
You do.
Where's your phone
right now?
I don't even
exactly.
You know where my phone is right now? It's with Mia.
Well, that's another thing.
Exactly. That's where my phone is right now. It's with Mia. So that way we can do this.
She's on it.
She is on it. And that's why it's hard. It's like either you're on the phone or they're on the phone. Right. And it's because you're just trying to get things done. And it's not like you're just trying to be productive. It's just trying to live your life.
You're trying to have a put together house without, trash everywhere.
Exactly.
Laundry,
it's like, okay, do you want to have a non-electronic child and have them be living in a pigsty? Or have them live in a semi-clean place with them having a semi-electronic child. Yeah. Like, it really is that fine line. Mm-hmm. And, like, we constantly walk it. Mm-hmm. And, like, every day, I feel guilty. Like, even today, like, I was like, okay, is this how it's always gonna be? Because, like, I don't want Mia on the phone. Right. I don't want me on my phone. Yeah. But here I can't deny reality. Right. It is the world we live in. It's the world we live in, and, I don't want to make that as an excuse. I'm starting to realize that, like, I don't want that to be the excuse. Right. But there is no solution. There is. You take them outside.
Leave the phone inside.
I get that, but like I hate being outside.
I
As a person, like, I've never been outside, like just because I had my own struggles, I had my own caretaking. So me myself, like I've never been outside, and when I was outside, I was living outside.
Hey, but remember that day we went to the park?
But there was a day that we went to the park that I actually enjoed it, and it was just about having fun, living in the moment.
Yep.
And I want that more than anything for me.
But also, like, life gets in the way.
Like, we both have jobs.
Yep. And you come home and, like, you got Sam.
We got dinner.
Yeah, like, we both got to fix dinner for...
We have to do the baths.
But we can't, I think going back to, like, finding joy in motherhood, like, that's not going to bring it. And, like, especially a worldly thing. Like,
yeah.
Like, I hear a lot about, like, especially, like, people with older kids, like teenagers or middle schoolers, they don't know what their kids are watching on the tablet or on the phone or on the computer or whatever. And so, like, instilling those values now while they're young is important, and limiting it to 20 minutes a day or whatever, like right before bedtime, like blocking it, parental controls, things like that.
That's really important, I will say, because like because
they'll know how to work it before too long.
That's why the internet is so interesting, especially YouTube and everything. But I remember reading something about how like they have been targeting children.
Oh, for sure.
On YouTube, on these things, to where they make them look like cartoons. So that way when you look at it, you're like, oh, it's nothing.
Harmless, yeah.
But it's very vulgar.
Yeah, I've caught a few like that. Characters from a show that Liam watches, you click on it and like there's a bad word here. And it's like, or they're fighting, or they've got guns, or like whatever, and it's like, no. Like I've had to change it lately, like away from those. I'm like, no, we're gonna stick to the channels we know.
Yeah.
And
so like at this point in life, I think I'm trying to have more of a say of what she watches than how much she watches it, because like you gotta pick your battles. Yeah. So, and I don't even feel good about that. So you'll never feel good about being a parent.
That goes into mom guilt.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, mom guilt is such a real thing, and it takes away your joy. Like it steals mine almost every week because like,
you can't do anything right.
Yeah, I told you yesterday, like on the way home from church, like a lot of my events are outside of work hours, and I feel like they're a lot on days that I have Liam.
And it's not fair because you are a single mom,
right?
And you can't choose your work schedule necessarily,
right. And so it's like. Takes in comes mom guilt, and it creeps in, and like I think that a lot of times that's it can be twofold. It can be maybe a nice little prodding of like, hey, what are your priorities? Are your priorities in line? Is it work and then child, or is it child and then work? Reevaluate.
You're working to provide for your child.
Well, yeah, but then I think but it can also be like, are you letting this take over your time too much? Can you do anything to change it?
Yeah, I mean, even doing the show right now, like this episode, Mia's right now with Sam, and she wanted it to be with us. Like she loves Lala. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, am I being a bad mom by even doing this show and depriving her from her today being with us? Even though she's with us most of the time. We will always deal with that guilt.
Yeah. It's part of it.
It's like, part of it.
That's what like my dad reminded me of the other day when I was complaining to him about it. He was like, Lauren, like, regardless of whether you were married or not, like, you're still gonna be a working woman. Like, because you don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. Nothing wrong with that. Would love to be a stay-at-home mom.
I would drive myself crazy, though.
I would, too. I would be like, I need to get out of here. I think it is so admirable to want to stay home, and I wish that I had that mindset, but I don't.
Yeah.
Even my grandma was, like, she worked odd hours, but she still was, like, present. Like, the time that you have with your child, you just fully devote that to them. Like, that's why, like, a lot of times, like, I do try to let my phone just stay on the kitchen counter, or, leave it on the table outside while we're swinging, or, playing baseball or whatever, so that I can just be present. Yeah. And do that with the time that I've got.
I think it's because like we love our children so much that we're constantly thinking about these like
the little things.
To the point where like from perspective, like those are the moments that really count. To the point where it's like maybe we shouldn't hold ourselves to such a high standard to where we're feeling guilty to where we can't even enjoy.
Right.
like the time that we are trying to give, because they're smarter than we give them credit for. So I feel like if they know that we do want to spend time with them and have that longing and wanting, they can feel it. And I think that really is the difference, is that they can feel their parent longing to be with them versus having their parent avoiding to be with them.
Right. They feel that energy.
Yeah. So like Liam knows when you get him that you just want to be with his little baby. And yeah, when Mia comes through the door, she knows she's loved.
She knows.
But I can't help it. I really can't. And even when I can't be there and when I have to put her in daycare for the day. And I genuinely think it's the best for her. So even though it doesn't feel the best to me, I know it's the best for her. And I think that's like what being a true mother is learning how to sacrifice your own feelings for them. Yeah. And you learn that from the very beginning when you get pregnant, and you have to sacrifice every day for their well-being, for them to grow.
Yeah. But it's worth it. It's all
100%. It's worth it. It's just a different kind of life.
It is.
But it's a beautiful life. And that's what I really love about us, is that both of our motherhood looks very different.
Yeah, it does. I mean, like, you're married.
Yeah.
You all live in the same place, and I'm single, and like, he goes between his dad and I.
Yeah.
And that's just the norm. I mean, unfortunately, we live in a broken world, and that's
there's a 50-50 chance either would happen.
Right. And so it's part of it, and I think you make the most of what you've got, and you try to show that baby love no matter what. And that's why I'm thankful for like a healthy co-parenting relationship with his dad. Like, we can put aside our differences to do what's best for him and to communicate about what he needs, and that's helpful because not all situations look like that.
And it's so hard to do that.
Yeah.
Because you really do have to be so selfless in that.
Yeah.
But
But I mean, it's part of it, and it's the cards we're dealt, and Liam should not suffer because of that. And that's something that I have to remind myself of a lot. Like, he cannot suffer because of that, because I want him to be set up for success, just like, or as if we were together. Like, I want him to thrive either way. And so I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure.
You know what, Lauren? Like, Liam may thrive because of this. You may not think so, but I think him seeing the struggle that went within both, I think it will give him a different perspective to where he can thrive in a different way. Liam will be a perfect human. He's already engaged to Mia.
Not perfect.
Already engaged to Mia. There's no other man. He is loving, so tender. Like, you can't have a different person. Yeah, he is such a mama's boy that, he deserves my daughter. So am I. I love his mom, so we both love his mom. It'll work. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and
enjoy motherhood. I mean, it's gonna fly by like that if you are a mom, so like, just enjoy it while you've got it, because I feel like for me, the past 3 years have already flown by, so I can't imagine the next 15.
Mia used to be able to fit on my chest fully. When she first came out, she's already half my height. So we already know she's gonna be tall.
Like her dad.
Like her daddy. But, like, she's not even 3 yet. And she's already, like, almost beyond me, and she will be, and I will just sit here like the shrimp in the family.
But you gotta find joy in it.
You gotta find joy in it.
Even in being the shrimp. Right. I mean, this is what it's all about. All right. Well, thank you for watching Joy in the Mundane. We'll see you next week.
Bye.